Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello, students. I hope all of you are doing well. This is week 2 communication skills video lecture 2. So, we had discussed the simple electronic theory. Now, coming towards the social environment theory of communication. It is also called social environment theory of communication. Um, but normally in communication, we call the electronic theory of communication or mathematical theory of communication. We call it mathematical theory and electronic theory. Just like that, we call it social environment theory. Uh, Uh, if you keep in mind the components of communication and electronic theory as well, so the communication must not rely on these theories. I'm not talking about the components of communication, I'm talking about the theory. So it must not rely on electronic theory. And the communicators must also consider the social environment theory too, because of the social and behavioral scientist. We must consider the situation too. Let me switch on the timer. Okay. So we must consider the situation too, because the social context in which we work or we will work, uh, uh, we communicate together. We all participate in a social situation, and within that situation, we each agree to assume certain roles. Now, electronic theories, it neglects the social situation, but the social environment theory has put the situation and also talk about the certain role. Uh, for example, the initiator, the compromiser, the encourager, all these things are the roles, and based on our part in activity, uh, we consider that that person um, is the encourager, that person is the compromiser, etc., and etc. So we each have a certain status prescribed officially when we are doing a job, such as our job title. We need to understand the rules or the culture of the environment in order to communicate. Both the official rules, such as company policies and practices, and those unwritten rules regarding to whom, how, and when, and for how long it is appropriate for us to communicate within a certain organization. Uh, Kindly refer to the um, diagram, the social environment theory. Where is the cursor? This is the cursor. uh, this is the sender communicator. It is just like the electronic theory, and this is the message, and this is the audience or receiver. But this communication, it occurs within a certain environment. So including the social environment is helpful because it aids important dimension of the specific social situation. Too often inexperienced people, for example, we will take the inexperienced business people, they neglect to take into account the role, status, and rules when they attempt to communicate. So when it is neglected, naturally there is a problem. So when they attempt to communicate and they neglect their roles, what is their role, their status in a situation and the rules, so the problem occurs. Let me put it this way. A fabulous letter may still fail to achieve its objective if you write to the wrong person at the wrong time. So naturally it would feel awkward. For example, you write a really best letter, or yeah, or I'll put it this way. If you call, if there is a boss and the boss tells his employee, hello sir, how is it going, are you fine, do you need anything? So the boss is neglecting his status. If remember, there are certain protocols in every organization. So if that protocols are not followed, then again there is a problem. So I'm giving you the example of a letter. If there is a fabulous best letter written, but it failed to achieve its objective if you write it to the wrong person at the wrong time. A fabulous or the best presentation may still fail if you are not sensitive to the unwritten rules of the group to whom you are speaking. We will discuss these things in the levels of communication. Majority of the people, when they are doing the business communication or official communication, if there is horizontal communication, so you must not write, you say you are requested, they say it is intimidated. If they're high, so you can say you are requested. If they are junior, so you direct them. So sometimes in some organization they tell their junior to you are requested, so it is awkward, and it really affect. Remember in lecture 1 I talk about the ambassador of the Turkey writing the letter to the US ambassador. I told you that I will show that letter, but the book is in Peshawar and I'm in village, so you would laugh at that letter, how he the words, the choice of the words he has used for the ambassadors, because it is official correspondence. So the social theory holds importance because it considers the environment, in which environment the communication occurs. And that thing is really important. If a person is aware of the situation, then and he is aware of the roles and he is aware of the rules not necessarily that they are written in official situation. There are certain SOPs, there are certain prescribed rules, but some rules are cultural as well, and some rules are I mean uh, they they are the social rules, and they automatically the person when grows up, so they adopt that very rules, like the child, the younger one, in a certain culture understand that in which role I have to speak and in which role the elderly person has to speak. So perhaps you have seen the difference. Normally we laugh at the people who neglect those very status or the social situation. So people love that, okay, how stupid that person is. So the social environment theory introduces that the communication, the communicator, the sender, the message, they are all same, just like the electronic theory, but these communication occur within the certain environment. I hope you have got it. Now we are coming towards rhetorical theory. Perhaps you have studied the Longinus, because he talked too much about the rhetorical aspects. But the rhetorical theory of communication, it is not that literary. It is rather a theory of communication. So these theorists who proposes the rhetorical theory adds more dimension to our understanding of the communication process. They say communication is not linear. Now, in electronic theory, we consider communication linear. In the social environment theory, we consider communication linear. But the rhetorical theory, it says that it is not linear, but circular. Not just sending a message to be received, but producing a response, that it is not static but dynamic. These qualities of communication are emphasized by the rhetorical theory. Now, rhetorical theorists provide an important addition to communication model for especially for the business communication. Many people in business get so caught up in the accuracy of their message and their appropriateness of situation that they forget the third crucial variable, which is producing the desired response from their audience. I will discuss the rhetorical theory in detail because it is really important in regards to communication, but the 12 minutes are over, so we will discuss this in our next lecture. And also for the assignment and quizzes, do refer to the extended lesson plan, at the end of which I had given the assignments. Thank you.